folks, Jolts here, another video review. Today I want to try something different. Aside from Legos and Transformers, I also like to collect Magic the Gathering trading cards. Not very often because I don't get a chance to play very often, but I do like to get a new pack whenever they have a new series or storyline coming out. So I thought I'd take a look at the 15 card booster pack for the Magic Origins series. First up, we have the card Healing Hands. Mana cost is 1 white plus 2 of anything. A sorcery. Target player gains 4 life, then draw a card. The Etheral Touch brings relief. The Physical Touch brings peace. 4 life for 3 mana, plus drawing a card. Life gain cards are always good, and this one seems cheap for what it gives you. Pretty good deal. Up next is Infernal Scarring. Cost 1 black and 1 of anything. An enchantment aura. Enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets +2/+0 and has, when this creature dies, draw a card. So far we've had 2 cards where you draw a card. And 2 mana for +2 to attack. That seems about even. There might be something better, but if you can find something better than this for a black deck, you might want to give this one a pass. It's cheap, so it's not too bad. One who is marked by a demon in life is sure to be remembered as one in death. Dragon Fodder. Costs 1 red and 1 of anything. Sorcery. Put 2 1/1 red goblin creature tokens onto the battlefield. Now that does seem like a pretty good deal right there. 2 mana, you get 2 literal dragon fodder creatures. Easy blockers. For something that low, it's good to use them for blocking very large creatures who do not have trample. Goblins journey to the sacrificial peaks in pairs, so that the rare survivor might be able to relate the details of the other's grisly demise. Yoked Ox. 1 white mana. A creature, Ox. No other abilities here. It is a 0/4, so it's got a good defense, a good blocker, early on at least, and doesn't have defender, so it can attack if you can get it something with attack on it. For example, play this card and then Infernal Scarring, and then you would have a 2/4 creature for a total of 3 mana. It was in Fields of Grain, not Fields of Battle, that the champion learned to bear the yoke of duty to the gods. She worked the land long before she was called on to defend it. Nivix Barrier. Cost 1 blue plus 3 of anything. Creature, Illusion Wall. It has attack of 0 and defense of 4. Has flash and defender. Flash, you can cast this as you could an instant. As in, you can cast it anytime in your turn or in your opponent's turn. Defender, this creature cannot attack. When Nivix Barrier enters the battlefield, target attacking creature gets -4/-0 until end of turn. So, it's a pretty good last resort blocker. Knock down a lot of attack strength of an opponent. And then you have 4 more defense to hopefully not be killed by it. So it's best to catch your opponent off guard with this one. Timberpack Wolf. Costs 1 green and 1 of anything. A 2/2 creature. Timberpack Wolf gets +1/+1 for each other creature you control named Timberpack Wolf. So, since you can only have 4 of one type of card, except for lands, you can have as many of those as you want, he can only get up to +3/+3, which means all the others will also have +3/+3. So if you can get 4 and maybe have something that can help you pull out the cards you actually want, like say something that will allow you to search your deck for a specific card, this could be useful, but on its own, 2 costs for a 2/2, decent. If you have more than 1 in play, it just gets better, but it may or may not be worth the risk. Their strength is no mere numbers game. An intangible force augments the wolves when they run together. Fiery Impulse. 1 red. An instant. So you can play it at any time in the game. Fiery Impulse deals 2 damage to target creature. Spell Mastery. If there are 2 or more instant and or sorcery cards in your graveyard, Fiery Impulse deals 3 damage to that creature instead. So already you have cost 1 to deal 2 damage to a creature, and if you already played 2 instants and or sorceries, you get an extra 3rd damage. So pretty cheap for its cost, but it is specifically just creatures, not players or planeswalkers. But still a nice card. Well, this got out of hand. Returned Centaur. Costs 1 black and 3 of anything. A 2/4 zombie centaur. When Returned Centaur enters the battlefield, target player puts the top 4 cards of his or her library into his or her graveyard. Decent defense, okay attack, and your opponent loses 4 cards. I think that'd be worth the cost of 4 mana. Driven away by his living kin, he wanders mourning through the wilderness, seeking the dead city of Asphodel. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. Wild Instincts. Costs 1 green and 3 of anything. Target creature you control gets +2/+2 until end of turn. It fights target creature an opponent controls. In other words, you add 2 damage and 2 defense to any creature you control, and it immediately damages a creature your opponent controls. Of course, that creature also damages your creature. A direct fight outside of the actual combat turn. If it cost 1 less, I don't know, it might be worth it. I kind of feel like 4 might be stretching it, but that is up to you. Nisa had only the space of a heartbeat to react, her instincts steering her blade. Guardian Automaton. Total cost of 4, just 4 of anything. It is a 3/3 construct. When Guardian Automation dies, you gain 3 life. So, 4 cost, you get moderate damage and moderate defense. And if his defense doesn't hold up, you gain 3 life. Yeah, I'd say that's about worth it. The wealthy in the city of Kiharapur outfit their lives with grand machines, entrusting even their children to filigree and gears. Still not sure what some of these words actually say. Magmatic Insight. Costs 1 red. As an additional cost to cast this card, discard a land card, then draw 2 cards. Personally, I've never been too fond of destroying lands, but given the cost of this, so it's tap 1 land, destroy another. No, actually, tap 1 land, discard a land, sorry. So I would say this is best if the rest of your hand and what you have in play is already good enough that you can afford to lose a land. And you get to draw 2 cards, which, who knows, could be another land. Chief among the tenets of Perforus is that one must destroy in order to create. Zindikar's Royal. Costs 2 green and 3 of anything. Enchantment. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, put a 2/2 green elemental creature token onto the battlefield. So, after you get 5 lands, play this and you can up your army every time you get another land. Well, I don't know. Depends on your deck and how many lands you have in it. I was wrong. Zendikar isn't after me. It isn't after any of us. It is not evil or vengeful. It's magnificent, but it's in pain. Shaman of the Pack. Costs 1 green, 1 black, and 1 of anything. A 3/2 elf shaman. When Shaman of the Pack enters the battlefield, target opponent loses life equal to the number of elves you control. So for 3 cost, you get decent damage for less than decent defense. But if you run a primarily, if not all elf deck, if you can survive enough for a late game, you may as well have just won the game. So if you have, let's say, 10 elves on the field plus Shaman of the Pack, this card will deal 11 damage to your opponent. And then, when you go to attack, you can have 3 plus at least 10 attack, swinging for them to finish the job. Yeah, I would say definitely worth the cost if you have a lot of elves in your deck. To the elves, her Spears of Compass. To the boggarts, the Harbinger of Doom. Flame Shadow Conjuring. Costs 1 red and 3 of anything. Whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, you may pay 1 red. If you do, put a token onto the battlefield that is a copy of that creature. That token gains haste. Exile it at the beginning of your next end step. Now, if I'm understanding the last part of that correctly, let's say you're able to play a strong creature, or something that has a very good effect to it. You get an immediate copy with haste. So while the creature you played can't attack, the token can. And if I'm understanding the next end step part, that means you exile it either at the beginning of your end of your turn, or at the end of your opponent's turn, because it just says the next one, not your next one. So I think it might even be able to block with it when your opponent attacks. For 4 cost, it's an enchantment, so you just lay that on the field, and you can do this whenever. And the fact that you have to only pay 1 red, I would say this deck is definitely worth it if you have a more creature-focused deck. And just before we close this out, of course, every booster pack comes with 1 basic land. Here we have an island. And so that is the opening of 1 Magic the Gathering Magic Origins booster pack. I'd say this one was a pretty nice draw. I thank folks watching. I hope you like this video. Please subscribe if you'd like to see more, and I'll see you folks next time.